My wealthy husband, whom I've been fawning over for 3 years, suddenly can read my mind. Unaware of this, I continue to put on a show of being virtuous and demure. After all, the books say that the more I fawn over him, the guiltier he feels, and the more compensation I receive when we divorce. Honey, can you accompany me for New Year's Eve tonight? I know you're going to meet your goddess. Go ahead, I have my own nightlife to enjoy. Unexpectedly, the domineering CEO doesn't leave. He insists on experiencing my nightlife firsthand. Chapter 1. As I passed by the mirror, I took a moment to size myself up. This good wife outfit I'm wearing is truly virtuous and boring. A harmless and obedient little wife, that's what I appear to be. And with the innocent face of the original owner. It will definitely make Mike, this cheating man, feel guilty enough to slap himself. At the moment I pushed open the door, I put away my smug expression and became as gentle as a lamb. Honey. Mike couldn't even be bothered to lift his head from the financial report. Quietly, I placed the prepared item into his coat pocket and walked up to him. Honey, can you accompany me for New Year's Eve tonight? Mike raised an eyebrow, somewhat impatient. You scumbag. I'm your wife. Just a small request, and you're so impatient. Suddenly, Mike frowned. What's that sound? I looked puzzled, and listened for a moment. I don't hear anything. Beneath Mike's cold, gold-rimmed glasses, were icy eyes. I'm not going back tonight. I blinked, instantly welling up with tears. But I really want to celebrate the new year with you. What a scumbag. Can't even come up with an excuse. Look up. As soon as you look up, my crystal tears will fall. Surprisingly, Mike actually lifted his head, his expression peculiar. I held my ground, stubbornly refusing to let him see my vulnerability. Honey, then go ahead and continue with your work. If you finish early, you can still come home. I will wait for you. I know you're going to meet your goddess tonight. Don't worry, I'm not idle either. I'll go to bars, clubs, and watch fireworks. My nightlife is definitely more exciting than yours. The item. It's already in your pocket. When you touch it tonight, you'll instantly remember my tenderness and acceptance. One more sigh, so, she knows everything. She knows but doesn't say anything. How understanding, it's enough to make one's heart ache. Wow, ha ha ha. I laughed maniacally in my heart. Mike covered his ears for a moment. I'm leaving now. I turned around, feeling triumphant. Time to have some fun. Yeah. Chapter 2. I have been transported into this melodramatic wealthy family novel for 3 years now. The original owner was a supporting character. The female lead, Wendy, broke up with the male lead, Mike, to pursue her dreams abroad. In a fit of anger, Mike married me, a fallen noblewoman. The original owner loved Mike deeply and was well aware of the power of a white moonlight character. So, she used every means possible just to stay by Mike's side forever. For example, she drugged Mike in an attempt to get pregnant, deleted emails from Wendy to Mike, falsely accused and harmed Wendy when she returned. In the end, Mike, unable to tolerate the original owner any longer, kicked her out of the house. Unlike the original owner, who loved Mike, I do not love him, but I love his money. According to the original book, Mike felt no love for the original owner but had guilt, so on the day of their divorce, he decided to give her half of his assets. However, the original owner was too annoying, exhausting Mike's patience, and in the end, she only received $1 million. For me, that is far from enough. Therefore, for these 3 years, I have maintained a low profile, not causing any trouble, and even worked hard to reconcile the male and female leads. Mike feels even more guilty towards me, and I will receive double the money in the divorce settlement. I returned home, changed into my new sexy outfit, and started doing my makeup and hair. A tight mini skirt, leg harness with black stockings, and marten boots. I'll do a peach makeup and curl my hair into big waves. This ensemble may not attract men, but it will definitely attract women. Time to go out and bond with some beautiful sisters. I grabbed my black coat and the new designer bag I bought, and happily headed out. As I opened the door, I saw a cold face. Mike stood outside the door, looking me up and down, a hint of surprise flashing beneath his golden-rimmed glasses. He smirked slightly. Where are you going? Chapter 3. Encountering shit as soon as I step out, what bad luck. The wind outside the door blew fiercely, sending a chill through my heart. I held my coat in front of me, trying to conceal my mismatched appearance with the character I was supposed to portray. Didn't you say you wouldn't be coming back tonight? Mike didn't seem to care about my attire or appearance. He stepped inside, casually closing the door behind him. Bending down to change his shoes, Mike said, I had an appointment, but I canceled it. After 3 years of marriage, this is the first time you've made a request, and I can't bear to refuse. My phone kept vibrating in my hand, incessant calls from my sisters. Did I just outsmart myself and shoot myself in the foot? While I was fretting, I saw Mike reach into his coat pocket. He looked at the rubber in his hand, puzzled. Without thinking, I blurted out, it wasn't me who put it there. I really wanted to slap myself in the face. Mike chuckled lightly and said, a voluntary confession. He took a step closer to me as I took a step back. It's my fault. After 3 years of marriage, I haven't fulfilled my duties as a husband. I backed up against the table, leaning back, and the slit on my thigh became more exposed. Mike's gaze shifted downward, and the temperature in the room suddenly rose. Your abilities are limited, and I understand that. And you have to remain faithful to Wendy, otherwise she won't want you anymore. His face turned black to the extreme, and he suddenly began taking off his clothes. The coat, the suit jacket, the vest. When his hand reached for the belt buckle, I was screaming frantically in my mind. Ah! How many pills did he mistakenly take today? The door clicked open. I peeked out and saw Wendy standing at the doorway. I had seen her countless times. On Mike's phone. Cold, elegant, a beautiful flower on a high peak. But at this moment, Mike was left with only a white shirt on. And his hand, somehow, was touching my thigh. Chapter 4. Mike frowned. Why are you here? He stepped back slightly, and I quickly slipped to the side to watch the drama unfold. A hint of hurt flashed in Wendy's clear eyes. I wanted to see you. I called you, but you didn't answer, so I came here to find you. I didn't expect that after all this time. The door code is still my birthday. I stared at the back of Mike's head, my face showing 3 parts mockery, 3 parts scorn, and 4 parts indifference. Despicable man. The password for our marital home is your ex-girlfriend's birthday. You really are a toad lusting after a frog. You're ugly but you play around. Unexpectedly, Mike suddenly turned around, and I instinctively put on a fake smile, my face almost twitching. He covered his mouth and coughed twice, as if trying to hold back laughter. Oh, fingerprints can also unlock it. I forgot to change the password. Thanks for reminding me, I'll change it later. Wendy's face turned pale, but she still forced a smile. Mike, I made a reservation at your favorite restaurant. Let's have dinner together tonight. She looked at me. You don't mind if Mike catches up with an old friend, do you? Huh, she really is a manipulative bitch. Luckily, I don't mind, hee hee. But the show must go on. I looked at Mike with a meaningful gaze, biting my lip lightly, and struggled to speak. She minds. Mike interrupted me, pulling me over and embracing me. Wendy, I'm a loner by nature, I have no old friends to catch up with. Tonight, I just want to spend New Year's Eve with my wife. And besides, you're a foreigner, don't you know that trespassing into someone's private residence is very dangerous? Wendy hurriedly defended herself. I am a citizen here. You renounced your foreign citizenship and obtained citizenship here again? Wendy was speechless. Please leave. Mike glanced down at me, his gaze softening from cold to slightly warmer. This scene pierced Wendy's heart even more painfully than needles. She turned gracefully and stumbled a little as she left. I was completely confused. Don't go. The story shouldn't be like this, you should reconcile quickly and then kick me out. Mike started getting dressed. A spark of hope ignited in my eyes, and I quickly suppressed my sadness. Honey, you should go check on Wendy. It's cold outside, and she's dressed so lightly. I'm afraid she might get sick. At this age, she doesn't know to dress warmly when it's cold. If she gets sick, it's her own fault. He finished getting dressed and picked up the coat I had dropped on the ground, draping it over my shoulders. Let's go. Where are we going? I'll take you to a bar, dance club, and watch fireworks. A chill ran up my spine. What's going on? When did he start going to bars? The famous bar nearby is called Blue Tears. God, please don't let him go there. Mike smiled, dangling the car keys. Let's go. Chapter 5. I tried to resist and said softly, Honey, I don't want to go. Mike patiently asked me, why not? Good girls from respectable families don't go to bars. Mike looked me up and down. Well, with my current appearance and saying something like that, it really doesn't sound convincing. Why are you more conservative than people from ancient times? I just don't want to go. I want to spend quality time at home with my husband. I just don't want to go with you. Mike looked down at me. I'll give you 2 options. 1, come with me obediently. 2, I'll carry you there. My smile started to falter a bit. Haha, I choose option 1. While driving, Mike's phone rang. I glanced at the car's electronic screen and saw an unfamiliar number. Mike answered the call. Mike, I'm so cold. It was Wendy. I couldn't resist the pitiful and aggrieved tone she used. Even as a woman, it tugged at my heartstrings. She sobbed in the wind, Mike, can you come and pick me up? I had already planned how to act reasonable and magnanimous for a while now. Mike tapped the screen and hung up the call. Is he the killer of fish in a supermarket? Why is his heart so cold? The phone rang again, and at the moment Mike raised his hand, I pressed the answer button. Mike glared at me. Wendy cried, breaking my heart, Mike, these past 3 years, I've been living miserably. Every day, I think about you. I've written countless emails to you, but you haven't replied to a single one. You're heartless, you're ruthless, but I still see you as the only strength that supported me through my studies. For 3 years, I've wanted to marry you, day in and day out. I've rejected countless advances from others for you, but you got married to someone else behind my back. Mike, do you know how much my heart hurts? Mike, I'm on the Chunjeong Bridge right now. Will you come find me? Is she trying to force a life or death situation? Mike slammed on the brakes. The flame of hope ignited in my heart, selflessly and generously. Go. Go and comfort your wounded princess. Mike glared at me again and answered Wendy, no. He hung up the phone cleanly and said to me, Yvonne, we've arrived. I turned my head to look out the window, where the Blue Tears sign was shimmering in the night. I suppressed my madness and said, haha, that's great, fantastic. Mike got out of the car and walked to the passenger side, opening the door. Get out. I lingered in the driver's seat. Mike leaned down and whispered like a devil, Yvonne, are you waiting for me to carry you? I immediately swiftly unbuckled my seatbelt. Mike held my hand and we entered Blue Tears, finding an empty card seat to sit in. The band on stage was playing Elopement, and the gentle light swayed. I saw my friend Doris. In my original world, I was a fashion blogger, and after transmigrating into this book, I resumed my old profession. Now I have over 100,000 followers. I happened to meet Doris. Doris has a neutral style and looks just like a fresh and beautiful boy. We often interact with each other. I'm not worried that Mike would see me online. After all, the apps on his phone are either finance and political news or sports and health related. He doesn't even have short video apps. Doris also saw me and was looking in our direction. I received her message, I think I saw you. Don't think, it's me. Doris walked towards us angrily and messaged me, damn it. Didn't you say you weren't coming? Hey, don't come over here. My trash husband is with me, don't ruin my image. Doris paused for a moment, then slowly revealed a sly smile and said, well then, I have to come and see for myself. Chapter 6. Mike leaned closer to me and asked, who are you chatting with? A friend, a girl. Doris somehow managed to find a bartender's vest and came over with a drink menu in hand. Beautiful lady and handsome gentleman, what can I get for you? Mike replied coldly but politely, a soda water, please. Doris glanced at him like he was a monster, then turned to me and asked, and what would you like, miss? An orange juice. Two monsters. Suddenly, Mike said to me, "If you want, you can have a drink. I'll take care of you." I lied without blushing or skipping a beat. "Honey, I have a low tolerance for alcohol. Just one sip and I'll be knocked out. Actually, I once outdrank a table full of people." Doris looked at my expression with utter disdain. She walked towards the bar while typing a message. "Damn, she's really good at pretending. No, this guy and you are completely incompatible. Why did you marry him? Just because he's handsome?" With Doris's intelligence, she couldn't understand the concept of transmigration. I came up with a reason that would make her accept it completely. "He's quite the ladies' man." Doris turned back to me, and her expression was complicated. "That's indeed a valuable and rare quality. But can you handle him? Hey, get lost." Mike and I truly were not on the same wavelength. Even in a bar, the atmosphere between us was awkward and boring. I drank my orange juice and almost fell asleep. A group of young men and women came rushing in through the door, and I lazily looked up, instantly wide awake. Wasn't Wendy preparing to jump off a bridge? How did she end up here? "We can't let Mike see her, or it'll be all over." I sat up straight and blocked Mike's line of sight. "Honey, I feel dizzy." Chapter 7. I exerted too much force, lost my balance, and was about to fall off the couch. Mike caught me by the waist just in time. Wendy and her group passed by our booth. Mike leaned me towards him, and I placed my hands on his chest, feeling my face burn. "Honey, let's go home." "Yvonne." "Yes." He stared into my eyes and asked, "Do you think I can meet someone worth trusting in my lifetime?" This random question caught me off guard, and I didn't know how to answer. Seeing my silence, Mike helped me stand up and walk towards the exit. Thinking that he wanted to go home, I happily followed him, but he headed deeper into the bar. Wendy was laughing and chatting with the people around her, like the center of attention, showing no signs of sadness or frustration. Mike stood in a dim corner, silently watching the lively scene. How did they end up in a dead end after starting with complete trust? Even now, I can't understand it. Wendy took off her coat and walked onto the stage with a guy, discussing with the band. In no time, the intro of Dangerous Party began to play. The two of them on stage, handsome man and beautiful woman, captured the attention of everyone in the bar. With their sexy dance moves, seductive gazes, and ambiguous physical contact, the girl seemed to have placed her heart in the guy's hands. The bar erupted with cheers and the atmosphere became more heated. But I felt that Mike was completely isolated. Unable to control my emotions, I held his hand. He looks so miserable that I can't even bring myself to mock him. Mike held my hand back and pulled me, with a concealed face, into the crowd, standing at the very front. Wendy danced with enthusiasm, but the moment she saw Mike, her smile froze along with her movements. "Mike!" She abandoned her dance partner and jumped off the stage, trying to grab Mike's hand, but he evaded her. "Mike, listen to me." "All right, go ahead." Wendy didn't expect Mike to be willing to listen to her explanation and choked for a moment. You rejected me tonight, and I was feeling upset, so my friends brought me here to relax." I was eavesdropping from up close and somehow caught Wendy's attention. "Did you bring Mike here even though he doesn't drink? Isn't it enough that you took Mike away from me? Why are you still deliberately trying to ruin our relationship? Are you all right, big sis? I've been trying to play matchmaker for you too. Why are you both biting each other like mad dogs?" I was about to say something for myself when Wendy snatched a drink from one of the onlookers and splashed it on my face. "Ah, it's refreshing." I don't even know how I managed to make such a snarky comment in such a tense atmosphere. Luckily, my makeup is waterproof. Mike pushed Wendy away. "Wendy, you're crazy." Wendy stumbled from the push, and the people with her came forward, intimidating Mike. "Who do you think you're pushing? Don't you want your hand anymore? Pushing a girl like that, are you even a man? Wendy loves you so much, yet you hit her for that bitch?" As Mike handed me a handkerchief to wipe my face, I instinctively extended my arm, blocking him behind me. "Don't be afraid, my child. Daddy will protect you thoroughly." Chapter 8. Doris brought her friends over and exclaimed, "Who are you arguing with so loudly?" Doris defended me and proudly confronted the other side, saying, Yvonne, don't be afraid. Those 3 guys of mine are all trained in martial arts. Beating them up is like beating up my own son. Both sides continued to exchange heated words. The bar owner jumped on stage, shouting, no fighting allowed. No fighting. We're connected to the local police station, and they can arrive within 3 minutes if there's a fight. Wendy looked at Mike with tear-filled eyes, one hand pressing the spot where he had forcefully pushed her. She said, Mike, you used to always protect me, saying you would take care of me for a lifetime. But just now, you actually laid hands on me. Mike, unaffected by moral appeals, replied, you were the one who splashed Yvonne with the drink first. Wendy, I've never been one to pity or cherish fragility. I only treasure those who are close to me. So, I'm already an outsider. You've been one for a long time. Wendy sobbed uncontrollably, her voice filled with despair. She asked, Mike, how did we end up like this? I also wanted to know how they had reached this point. I didn't know the reason, and Wendy didn't know either. Only Mike knew. Mike said, I read every email you sent me. In those emails, you said you missed me, loved me, and couldn't think straight without me. But what did you do after sending those emails? I found your Instagram account based on your email address. I saw you at parties, racing cars, enjoying the attention and admiration of other men. You seem to be living an effortless life, so why bother coming to me with false pretenses? It seems like I know where the problem lies. In the novel, the original host intercepted all the emails, and Mike only read them after Wendy returned to her home country. Each heartfelt email, uninterrupted for 3 years, suddenly ignited the suppressed emotions in Mike. The two reconciled and focused on dealing with the original host's mischief. Mike didn't delve into how Wendy's life was abroad. But I didn't do the same. The emails awakened the suppressed longing in Mike. He went crazy trying to find out more about Wendy's current situation. Hindered by his pride, he could only search for answers privately. And so, he saw a completely different life from his own. He was drowning in heartbreak, while Wendy lived a colorful life, seemingly untouched by past relationships. Wendy retorted to Mike, Am I not allowed to be happy? Do you only find satisfaction when my life is a mess? Explaining myself now would only make me appear defensive. Mike understood this very well, so he smirked and said, I might as well be playing the piano to a cow. I couldn't help but burst into laughter. Quickly, I covered my mouth. Please don't splash me with another drink, Wendy. Mike reached out and pulled me behind him. He said to Wendy, Tonight, I brought Yvonne here to have fun, and meeting you was a coincidence. It just so happens that I have something to say to you. Our relationship ended long ago when you forced me to accompany you abroad under the pretense of a breakup. I don't consider you a friend, nor do I want to reminisce with you. I'll return your words to you verbatim. Please stop scheming and trying to ruin the relationship between me and my wife, Yvonne. After Mike finished speaking, he grabbed my hand and walked towards the exit. One of the guys accompanying Wendy tried to act heroic, saying, Who allowed you to leave? Explain yourself clearly. Doris pushed the guy away and said, What are you pretending to be? Who's afraid of you? Look at how eager you are to please. Even a dog would kneel down and call you master. Say that again. The bar owner chimed in again, No fighting allowed. No fighting. Wendy came crying and tried to stop Mike, saying, Mike, don't go. She even threatened Mike, If you leave today, we're really done. Mike protected me and walked past her. Mike, you'll regret this. The commotion gradually faded away as we walked further. Pushing open the doors of the bar, the cold wind blew, making my mind clear and sober. Wendy may not understand, or maybe she's pretending not to understand, but I understand. What disappointed Mike wasn't that Wendy was doing better than him, but her hypocrisy. Looking at Mike's profile, my eyes involuntarily became teary. One thing on the surface, another behind closed doors. I'm just as hypocritical as Wendy. Suddenly, Mike stopped and looked down at me. He asked, Yvonne, can you promise me something? Chapter 9. What is it? I asked. There was a hint of darkness in Mike's eyes as he said, regardless of what happened before, can you please not lie to me in the future? He added, if there's something you don't want me to know, you don't have to tell me. But can you please not lie to me? To be fair, Mike has been good to me. Living in a spacious apartment, driving luxury cars, a monthly allowance of $150,000, he doesn't restrict my freedom, and he doesn't pressure me to share a room or have children. He has given me everything I could never have dreamed of in my past life. Except, he has become somewhat distant towards me. If it weren't for the novels I've read, which have ingrained in me the belief that he has someone else and that we will eventually divorce, I wouldn't have harbored such animosity towards him. But reality is here, and Mike firmly and decisively rejected Wendy, protecting me in the process. At this moment, any animosity has long dissipated, replaced by a cloud of guilt that fills my heart. I nodded, I promise you. Mike sincerely thanked me, okay, thank you. Why is he like this? Sobbing, I feel so guilty that I wish I could slap myself. Can you tell me who that guy was then? I asked. Which one? The one who served us drinks. I hesitated for a moment before understanding, oh, she's my friend. And she's a girl, just dressed in a more masculine way. How did you two meet? I pondered for a moment and told him about my activities as a video blogger. And finally, I added, don't ask me what my account is, I absolutely refuse to reveal my identity. Mike chuckled, all right, let me ask a different question. Yvonne, do you prefer your everyday style of dressing or the way you dress now? I pouted and whispered, the way I dress now. You look beautiful, and anything you wear suits you. But I want you to be able to wear clothes that you genuinely like, not just to please someone else. A warm feeling surged in my heart, I understand. He patted my head and said, let's get in the car. Are we going home? No, I'm taking you to see fireworks. The fireworks were being set off by the riverside. As soon as the car stopped, I rushed out and secured a perfect viewing spot, waving at him. Honey. Come over quickly. I felt something furry on my leg, and when I looked down, it was a golden retriever rubbing against me. The golden retriever looked up at me, smiling with its tongue out. I bent down and gave the dog a good scratch, instantly feeling refreshed. Mike walked over and wrapped me in a blanket he had in his hand. Do you like dogs? I chuckled foolishly, I love them, especially big dogs. The first fireworks soared into the night sky, bursting into golden sparks and flying in all directions like shooting stars. I was filled with excitement but lacked the vocabulary, so all I could do was exclaim, it's so beautiful. Mike gently embraced me. The bustling crowd fell silent for a moment, and I clearly heard his blessing. Yvonne, Happy New Year. Chapter 10. Mike's daily routine has noticeably changed. Previously, he would leave early and return late, often spending weekends at a villa in the suburbs. I always had to go to his office to find him, bringing him meals and clothes, showing concern to gain his favor. But this New Year's holiday, he didn't leave at all. In the morning, he exercised, went to buy groceries, and cooked. In the afternoon, he handled his work on his own. He took care of my meals and clothing, helped me with deliveries and shopping, but he didn't disturb me. I was in my room editing videos, listening to the sound of him chopping vegetables outside. Living with him, I feel somewhat comfortable. What should I do? When the holiday ended, Mike went back to work. He still made breakfast for me in the morning, called to check on me at noon, and came home earlier in the evening. What touched me the most was that on his way back, he would ask if there was anything I wanted to eat. Even if it meant taking a detour, he would bring it back for me. That night, Mike came home. I greeted him happily as usual. He's here, he's here. He brought back my grilled skewers. Mike held the skewers in his left hand and carried a basket in his right. Inside the basket was a little golden retriever. I was stunned. Whose dog is this? It's ours. Mike opened the basket, and the little golden retriever timidly walked out and came to my feet. I couldn't even catch my breath and looked up at Mike. Are you willing to let me have a dog at home? In the orange light, he smiled at me. I'm often busy with work, but having it at home to accompany you will put my mind at ease. I picked up the little golden retriever, smelling its puppy scent, rubbing its little face, and tears welled up in my eyes. I finally have my own dog. Mike reached out his hand to wipe away my tears. He has been so good to me, I don't even know how to bring up the topic of divorce with him anymore. Mike's hand froze in midair. Honey, thank you. Mike nodded, didn't say a word, and went back to his room. I was immersed in the joy of having a puppy and didn't notice his change in mood. I was playing with the little dog when Doris called me. Excitedly, I shared with her about having a dog. Don't waste time, go check out Pomegranate, someone is attacking you. I hugged the golden retriever tightly and took out my phone. Pomegranate is a video platform in this world, and it's where I post videos. There's an account called domineering with over 500,000 followers. They posted accusing me of being a morally corrupt gold digger who intruded into someone else's relationship just to marry into wealth. They even had photos as evidence, making it seem so real. The comments below were all criticizing me. Look at how she dresses, you can tell she's not a good person. Mistress Biss. Ah, so she's that kind of person. I even followed her, I need to unfollow her immediately. Unfollowed +1. I worked overnight to make a clarification video, believing that my fans would help me by sharing and explaining. But most people were still caught up in the narrative that I was a mistress and completely ignored the clarification video. I understood that the other party had bought a large number of fake accounts, making it impossible for me as an individual to fight back. Dong Bianyang then released Wendy's photos, pushing the public opinion to its peak. Wow! She's so beautiful. Fresh and elegant, completely different from that seductive trash. One is a fairy, the other is just a chicken. So, is the guy blind? Rejecting such a beautiful girl and marrying a slut? They have some serious skills. I have already lost 50,000 followers, and Doris has also been affected by this storm. Since you're so close to the mistress, are you also one? Definitely. Birds of a feather flock together. Doris has also lost a lot of followers and was extremely worried. Yvonne, what do we do now? Faced with this organized, premeditated, large-scale smear campaign, and people's tendency to enjoy watching the chaos and not care about clarifications or the truth, I am completely powerless to resist. Chapter 11. I tried to contact some influential people I knew to see if they were willing to help me. The people who used to call me their sister with affection now don't even answer my calls. Some even went as far as blocking me directly. Doris called me, quick, check the top trending search, is that your husband? The top trending search is about Mike. He created an account and posted a clear timeline of his breakup with Wendy, our blind date, and our marriage. The caption read, my marriage with Yvonne is legal and moral, and I will not tolerate any defamation. I will hold accountable anyone spreading rumors and slander. Mike's company official account reposted his post and tagged me, rumored Mrs. Smith. P.S. Our legal department is ready. Many celebrity product endorsers of Mike's company also reposted his post. In an instant, the tide had turned. Those who had criticized Dong Bianyang for spreading rumors said, this guy is a habitual rumor monger, and this time he's hit a brick wall. Get ready to face a lawsuit. Passers-by who checked in at my place said, the domineering CEO trope has come to life. The CEO protecting his wife is so cool. And then there were fans who wanted to take credit, Mrs. Smith is great. My brother was the first to repost, consider renewing the endorsement contract. Everyone, follow me. And Mrs. Smith is fashionable and beautiful, we can all learn from her style and makeup. I want to learn how to find a husband like CEO Mike. Mrs. Smith, can you teach a class? My fan base exploded, and Doris benefited from it too. She was dumbfounded, I've never seen anything like this before. Yvonne, is your husband really that awesome? Even the influential people who had blocked me before appeared, darling, my phone had some issues, and I accidentally blocked you. Are they trying to fool me? I chuckled and proceeded to block and delete all those people. I pushed open the door and went to find Mike. The door to the master bedroom was open, and Mike was sitting in the space-aged chair by the glass window, his face covered with a book, lazily basking in the sun. I walked up to him and held his hand. Honey, thank you. Mike took the book away, pulling his hand back. It's because of me that I've burdened you and disrupted your small world. The previous sense of distance seemed to return. The little golden retriever also ran over, nibbling on Mike's slipper and trying to climb up his pants. Mike looked down at it for a while, then moved his foot away. Take it back to the room, I want to take a nap. I looked at Mike's handsome profile, feeling a dull pain in my heart. What's happening to him? What did I do wrong to make him angry? I picked up the little golden retriever and walked away, looking back 3 times with each step. Chapter 12. I looked at the news, and there seemed to be some issues with the funding chain of Wendy's family company. In just a few days, Wendy's family announced their engagement with Paul, the second male lead from the original story. My popularity remained high, with various product endorsements coming my way. I rejected all of them and released a new video. I finally have a dog. Everyone, help me think of a good name for it. At noon, Mike came back. I bounced up to him excitedly. Honey. Why are you back? Did you bring me something? I took the box from Mike's hand. Wow, a Black Forest cake. Thank you, honey. I happily twirled around with the cake, and the little golden retriever chased after my footsteps, joining me at the dining table. I've gained some weight recently. Honey, take me to the gym. Mike sat down across from me and handed me an agreement. It was a divorce agreement. Yvonne, let's get a divorce. You've been living in this house for a long time, so it's yours. I'll move out today. Choose whichever other properties and cars you want, as much as you like. I don't have much personal savings, so I'll give it all to you. There are many people paying attention to you now. We can keep the news of our divorce confidential for a year and announce it later. During this time, you're free to date. If you ever need help, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Don't shoulder everything alone and lose sleep over worries. I may not have much ability, but I can still protect your safety and well-being. I couldn't hear anything else. There was only one sentence in my mind. Let's get a divorce. You want to divorce me? My heart felt like it was being twisted, and tears welled up instantly, impossible to wipe away completely. Is it because of Wendy's engagement? You don't care about her anymore, and now you want to rush into another marriage? Mike shook his head. No, it has nothing to do with her. I don't believe you at all. I had initially wanted to smash the cake at him, but couldn't bring myself to do it. With tears streaming down my face, I went back to the room and collapsed on the bed, wailing. A portion of the bed sank down, and Mike gently stroked my hair. Yvonne, please stop crying. I pushed his hand away. Go away. Mike sighed and prepared to get up, but I suddenly pounced on him, pushing him back onto the bed. With tears streaming down my face, I straddled him and roughly tore at his shirt. I'm not getting a divorce from you. Mike, let me tell you, get the thought of reuniting with Wendy after you're dead out of your head. If you dare to divorce me, I'll hang myself at the entrance of your company. You're stuck with me for the rest of your life. Mike lay on the soft sheets, his face looking particularly handsome against the white pillowcase. Yvonne, didn't you always want to divorce me? You didn't know how to bring it up, so let me help you say it. I thought about it before, but not anymore. I haphazardly kissed his face, nibbled on his shoulder, while the little golden retriever barked by the bed. It was cheering me on. Good dog. Feeling encouraged, my hand reached for Mike's belt buckle. Suddenly, everything spun, and I found myself pinned down on the bed. Mike's eyes were deep and mysterious. We won't get a divorce. For the rest of our lives, we'll only be together.